For as long as I can remember, oud has been part of my life. The scent of this rare and special wood was present at home, at the neighbors, and in the mosque. Nothing gives me a feeling of utter nostalgia like the smell of oud. But looking beneath the surface of this incense will take me on a journey both dark and beautiful. The scent of oud is part of life not just in Qatar where I live, but in most of the Arabian Peninsula. More oud is burned here than anywhere else in the world. We call this oud. It's also called Agarwood, Gaharu in some cultures. It comes mainly from India and Southeast Asia. Smell. Yeah. Well, to you it might be weird, but to me it's really good because I'm used to it since I can remember. It's like you dipped the wood in a very nice perfume.
Could you describe the smell?
Happiness, I guess. It's so deep in my subconscious. When I use it now, it makes me feel better. Everyone has their own associations with oud, but above all, it's a communal thing, used to welcome guests or share with family and friends. إذا تدخنت وش تشم؟
أنا أشم ريحة الجنة. أنا بالنسبة لي العود من ضمن الأشياء الغالية الثانية تطرد الكآبة، يحس الواحد ببهجة. طبعا على حسب نوع العود. كل عود له عندي ذكريات معينة. يعني مثلا العود الكمبودي عشان ما أتذكر الوالدة. أذكر أول شيء. العود الهندي مرتبط في الوالد. وكل سبحان الله كل أنا بالنسبة لي كل قصة كل كسرة تحكي قصة. يعني تحكي عشرات السنين فيها.
Yet in recent years, that story has been changing. These wooden chips have become incredibly expensive. And each year, the high-quality oud we thought would be there forever when we were growing up becomes harder to find. This is the alley of perfumes in the old souk. Since oud becoming rarer and rarer, I will see now what they have to offer. السلام عليكم. هذا من وين؟
من الهند.
وهذا الكيلو بكم؟
كيلو 18.
كيلو 18,000.
نعم.
نايس. عندك شيء أفضل؟
لا بعد أفضل هذا لا.
So basically, all of this is below the average good oud, which means this is below super. But anyway, I will smell it. Maybe I will like it. Part of the mystery of oud is that it never smells the same twice. Its strength and quality depends on the concentration of oil in the wood. But in the end, it's all down to personal taste. It's actually not bad. But either way, the Indian stuff is not for me. I'm used to the Cambodian and the Indonesian. This is more intense and fruity. The other one is more fresh and woody. The other one, the type I like.
في 1 كيلو والله سمك أنظر الكمبودي هذه سوبر فيه.
موجود؟ ممكن نجيبه؟
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله.
Even if you ask for the best stuff, they will not give it to you right away. You will have to try what they have. First, they will try to sell you what they have on display. You don't get it, they try to sell you from the bags that they have here. You don't like it, they go inside and bring maybe other bags with better stuff. I guess we'll see. تقول هذا كمبودي
كمبودي.
وهذا كم سعر الكيلو؟
هذا الكيلو 120.
120,000.
120,000 riyals is $34,000, which per kilo is the current price of gold.
Yeah, this is much better. What's amazing about this, it will definitely stay in your clothes for days. However, the price is too much and I can't afford it.
Someone who's been selling oud for decades is Mohammed Al-Dalimi. In this storeroom, he estimates there is about $1.5 million worth of the wood.
The good people who purchase the oud, they listen to it. They listen to it. You see? I can judge from listening without seeing. If I move that one, the one from Sabah plantation, you will hear different tune. So
It's about how heavy the wood.
okay, this is one thing. It has to have a weight. Some people, older people, they will cut it by their teeth.
Yeah.
And they will test it. If it's too much better, then this is good quality.
How come the price treble every few years? I mean,
The demand in the market, in the whole market, people are using it more, even here.
so in the Gulf country, they use it more now.
They use it more.
I use it more, but I don't know.
You
what
use it more.
Yeah.
I use it more. Everybody is using this.
It was the recent surge in the price of oud that made me sit up and stop taking it for granted. When I looked into it, I found that the tree in the wild is verging on extinction in many countries. In a vicious circle, the rarer it gets, the more desirable it becomes, driving up prices and creating a dangerous black market. There are now people getting killed in the hunt for oud.
That's why I thought maybe I should look into it and find out more. Is it going to end in my lifetime? Am I part of the problem? I need to find out.
I want to trace oud back from its end users to its source in the forest. Demand has been growing in both East and West, and my first stop is London, where I was recently studying.
In London, I discovered more dimensions of oud. Oud is a very hot fragrance, so whenever I wear it, it makes me feel warm. The thick layer of cotton and wool absorbs the smell and keep it for a long time. One of the amazing moments I remember is walking to this university and the cold wind hits my clothes. Then the scent rises up. I definitely enjoyed oud here much more than I enjoyed it back home.
For some years, Joachim Gratzfeld of Botanic Garden Conservation International has been working on preserving the trees that produce oud. He takes me to the herbarium in Kew Gardens to show me how oud or Agarwood is created.
So this is the Agarwood tree?
Yes, so basically there is two genera, which is Aquilaria and Gyrops, which are the main groups of plants that produce Agarwood. When a tree is wounded and has open bark, whatever.
By what?
It can be insects, it can be maybe a storm, can be many different things. So then it provides an entry for microorganisms, fungi. The counter reaction of the tree is to produce a resin, and it's this resin that then shows in these black spots.
The sad truth is that the tree only becomes valuable when it's infected and generating antibodies in the form of Agarwood.
It is quite a rare occurrence naturally. Sort of one in 10 trees, as I said before, is sort of usually shows signs of Agarwood production, while the other plants in the same population may not necessarily have Agarwood, and that's why it's a very rare resource. when you are in the field, this is very difficult to see whether a tree has produced agarwood or not. So that's one of the reasons why they are often indiscriminately felled, just to see whether they have it or not. And this is one of the reasons why the species have become so threatened these days.
The trees have been put on the list of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, or CITES. In some countries, this has led to a ban on harvesting, and in the rest to needing a CITES certificate for export, proving the wood came from a sustainable source. Commercial plantations have also been established, and yet, in the wild, the trees' population continues to decline.
So as a consumer who only uses wild agarwood, do you think I'm a part of the problem?
Yes, of course, unless it's sustainably sourced and respects the sort of is within the export quotas of the different countries, and unless also the CITES regulations are abided by, then yes, then you are part of the problem.
One of the things I have to find out is whether my wood is harvested sustainably or not. But the demand for the wood far outstrips supply. In the last decade, there's been a boom of interest in the West for wood oil. The pure oil, or dehn al-oud, can be overpowering to those not used to it. Yet, in small proportions, it's a versatile ingredient, as Western perfumers have been realizing in the last decade. Nearly all the major brands now have an oud-based selection. But in Harrods Salon de Parfum, there is a French company, Agarwood, that was working with oud long before it became fashionable.
This is one of our most special blends. Going to try. It contains the henna-oud, patchouli, amber, vanilla.
Great. And how much is this one?
It's 890 for 15 milliliters.
Wow.
And the Oud Supreme is our small, special, unique blend that I haven't showed you. It's our little secret. We keep it hidden. This is a very beautiful blend that we only show it to the most prestige customers, the connoisseurs who can appreciate this beautiful.
And how much does bottle cost?
It is 2,200 for a 50 milliliters bottle. It is an amazing fragrance. Because it's something new to the Western world, sometimes the reaction can be overwhelming maybe. It's something that is not familiar for them. But as they come second time to try it, they will fall in love. So you need 1-2 times to smell it, and then you will want it.
I'm in love with that. I'll keep smelling all day.
Agarwood have been developing oud perfumes for around 30 years. But this is the first time they've opened a boutique for the public. Uri's daughter, Annalise, is also a perfumier.
I remember when I was a child, with my sister, we were discovering the different ouds, and surprised, of course, because at first, you can be surprised.
But it got very trendy in the past 10 years. What do you think of that?
I look at this with a little smile, in a way that suddenly everybody discovered the beauty of this component.
For the forest of Agarwood. The trend now is creating huge demand. So do you think the end is coming sooner?
Now, what the other brands are doing, I cannot really tell, but in my opinion, remaining in the natural cannot go with a large distribution.
Like mass production.
Mass production.
Yeah.
So if we speak about natural wood, of course there's a limit. There's a real limit.
After smelling Agarwood's perfumes, I want to meet the man behind them. That means traveling to the south of France, to the town of Grasse, the perfume capital of the world. Grasse earned that title thanks to the fragrant flowers that have been growing in the area for centuries. The jasmine that goes into Chanel No. 5 is picked from these fields. The town even has its own school of perfume. I attend a lesson given by Max Gavari, a famous French expert, or nose as they are called, who has put together scents for Dior, Dolce & Gabbana and others. He gets his students to sample oud oils from different countries.
Thailand is sweet. Thailand is a little sweet. Thailand is sweet.
Thailand, Indian is good, I think. It's not bad.
It's very dirty, it's very animal.
Yeah. Indian is maybe the best.
It's kind of civilized.
Yeah. It's very difficult to copy the nature. You always miss something. Then nature is everything. Could be sweet, little fruity, little. Then you say, okay, maybe some fruit. Maybe something fruity, then you're going to add some food. And then after, too much, you know.
Hello.
Hello.
Jack, nice
How
to
are
meet you. I'm good. It's a privilege to see you.
One man who's been working on a certain natural oud smell for decades is Henri Jacques. It is in this house where everything is done, from perfume creation to distribution.
Our collaborators, it's not an easy product, the Agarwood. It's a very, 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 very delicate product. You need years of sensibility to use this wonderful product inside our Occidental perfumes, and to reach the sensibility of the customers, the ladies, the gents who like it. It's an invisible communication of love between a product and the people. You see, I don't know if I explained myself,
you did.
But it's very important.
So you're saying it took you knew about oud in the 60s,
yes,
but it took you about 20 years to make it.
Oh yes, 20, 25 years to start mixing it in different perfume. And how many failures we have passed through until we reach. You know, it's not an easy product. You put rose in oud. The smell immediately is wonderful. You say, oh, it's rose oud, and 1 month later, 2 months later, you smell it, rose has disappeared. So oud is a very powerful product. And
so it's hard to mix it with something else.
Yes, and you have to be patient with the oud. You have to be patient, like a beautiful lady. You have to be very patient, and oud is also the same, has the same delicacy.
Yeah.
Henri gives me a sniff of the oil at the base of his oud perfumes.
This is pure oud, or a few type of oud mixed together, or what is it exactly?
It is a different mix of oud, because I want to reach the smell of the oud that was available 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You see? So
why? What's the difference between
because
that was available 20, 30 years ago and now?
I believe with the deforestation, you know, the forest of wood, they are all cut. So the wood we have today is not same as before. It was more animal. There was a more strong animal smell in the old wood. It was very sick.
It was so wild,
so sick, so animally, and you know, and today it is more sweet, more soft, like a beautiful skin of a lady, for instance. You see, that's it.
So
you're happy.
You're saying oud used to be wild, and now it's tamed.
And now it
is tamed.
Yes, yes, yeah.
The high-quality oud of memory seems to be fading into the past. But my research has taken me to the website of Agarwood Consulting and the man behind it, who lives near Grasse. Alam Mahavi hunts out the best oud on the planet.
How did you know about oud?
I was introduced to oud when my father and my mother were working for King Fahad Ibn Abdulaziz of Saudi Arabia. When I was 14 years old, the king gave some as a present to my father for his job, and I kept it preciously. I started to burn small piece by small piece, and then I was in love with this Agarwood.
What is your profession these days?
My profession, I'm an Agarwood seller, and the other parts I work for some special customer, I would say, to look for some very high-grade Agarwood.
As the sun goes down, Alan shows me some of his wares.
I brought you a few, just a few samples from different quality, different variety. This one is the last piece that I kept from the king. My last piece from the king.
So you wouldn't burn this one?
No, it's sentimental.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So this is sinking grade from
Okay.
Indonesia. It is called sinking grade because it sinks in the water because of the oil content. There's a lot of oil on it. So this is supposed to be the best, and it's not supposed, it's the best grade of Agarwood. It smells a bit like grass, like mushroom also.
Alan has a different way of burning wood.
It's a mica plate. Japanese people use it to so the heat will not be too high. It helps to burn the wood properly and slowly. There's more nuances.
Yeah, it smells like grass. Actually, it's really nice. I mean,
a nutmeg also, a little bit like nutmeg.
Yeah.
Alan seems to have the same knowledge and passion for wood as a sommelier does for wine. But he's not finished with me yet.
So this is the best
Agarwood. It's the best. But beyond the best,
there's something
much rarer.
Beyond the best.
Way beyond the best. There's something much rarer that we call kinam. It's the rarest wood on earth. It's rarer than titanium, uranium, platinum, rarer than diamond, and we call it kinam. And I have one small kinam here. It's not small actually because it's nearly impossible to find nowadays. This one is.
Can I touch it?
Yeah.
I've never been lucky enough to smell it, but kinam has the most prized aroma of all wood. This is Alan's biggest find for a customer so far, 16 kilos of 600-year-old wood. It took him 5 years to find, and it went on sale for a staggering $20 million.
The price of the kinam is really skyrocketing. It's like, it can be for 1 gram, $10,000 US for 1 gram. In Shanghai, they sold a piece 2 or 3 years ago. It was $18 million for 2 kilo of kinam. So it's like 9 million per kilo. it's amazing.
In a week, Alan will be back on the hunt in Southeast Asia. We agree to meet again there, as it is also time for me to pay my first visit to the countries that grow wood, and hopefully find a tree in the wild. Bangkok, Thailand. Finally, I am in the region where wood comes from. For millennia, wood has spiritual associations for many Asian cultures, where its smoke was said to aid contemplation. It may have first come to the Middle East with Chinese traders, and today it's the Chinese again who are having the biggest impact on the market. Back in Asia on his hunt for kinam, Alan tells me about the boom in Chinese sales. When did the Chinese start demanding wood more than the rest of the world?
It started in 2000. 2000, yeah, recently, because of the economic.
Yeah.
Because there's more and more rich Chinese, and it's really fashionable now. They buy all the highest quality, so the price is rising very, very fast, like every year, and can be like 20% also depending on the quality, or the highest quality.
What do they use it for?
There's different purpose for sculpture, for feng shui. They like to put it on a nice place in their home to impress their guests also, and also as a traditional medicine.
They don't burn it like us?
They burn it also, but nowadays, because of the value, the rising price, skyrocketing price, they also invest in it. Like we can invest, for example, in painting, they invest in Agarwood.
People's reluctance to part with a wood as investable as quinine is an obstacle Alan constantly comes across.
Especially in Asia, you need to have kind of trust with these people. You cannot come and put the money on the table. They will not sell it to you. It's not about the money. If they know that I'm really involved in it and that I really do it because it's a passion, it is easier. But it takes time. You cannot have a quinine. You cannot say, okay, next month I want a quinine. It's not possible. It's not like buying a Ferrari, or it's easy to buy a Ferrari as long as you have the money. You just go in the shop and, okay, I want this one. For quinine, it's very different. Yes.
Who is this customer?
I cannot tell you about the quinine customer. It's confidential. It's part of the contract.
But from where, at least?
Chinese customer.
Alan has more than 200 Agarwood contacts in Southeast Asia. His most trusted one in Thailand is with Sawa, who started out harvesting wildwood but has since changed his ways.
If we harvest the tree from nature, it's wasting to cut down the tree just only for a few pieces. So I start doing plantation business first because of money, and the second to save natural Agarwood tree in the forest, still in the forest.
Overexploitation has led to a ban on wild harvesting in Thailand, and across Southeast Asia, there has been a boom in plantations growing cultivated agarwood. Here, acularia are induced into generating their precious resin through chemical injections. Wetsawa also uses his own concoction on trees owned by farmers he knows.
I will show you the tree that already done inoculation. I did it, I think almost 2 years. This is the hole that I drill with electric driller, and I squeeze the liquid, the inducer, inside the hole, into the hole.
But what do you inject it with? What is this?
This is organic liquid. Anything is food grade.
Yeah, but what's in it?
I can't tell you everything because it's a secret formula. You can see the ring. This ring is antibody to protect itself from the irritation. This is Agarwood. Have you seen this before?
No, this is my first time.
Only the finished product that you have seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how Agarwood form. How the tree form Agarwood.
It's really tough. It's not the same like the healthy side. The healthy side is moister, but this is dry.
It's dry and harder.
Yeah. Why do you tap the tree?
I just want to hear the sound. If any branch hollow, that means it's time to harvest. Yeah, it's ready to harvest. This one is good enough for a normal grade, not a super grade.
After the agarwood has been harvested, it still needs to be separated from the healthy wood around it.
This is Agarwood piece. After carving, yeah, right.
How much time he needs to carve a piece like this?
I think about 3 pieces per day. Very slow, right?
What about the big one?
This he start carving without cutting a piece of wood.
Yeah? How did he carve the whole thing?
This piece take about 2 months to be done.
It will take me a lifetime to do this one, and I won't do it right.
Yeah.
A piece like this will probably be sold as decoration. Plantation chips tend not to be the best quality because the wood is harvested after a few years or so, meaning the resin is less concentrated than it is in the wild. Yet, whatever the quality of cultivated wood, in the near future it may be the only option available for those of us who aren't super rich. I still don't know whether I'll ever get my dream of seeing a wild tree in the forest. But Alan and Wetsawa take me to a special place near the Cambodian border.
We're coming to this temple to see a huge and very old natural Agarwood tree.
How old?
Older than 200 years old. Every year, the villager will come here to celebrate to this tree because they believe this is a holy tree. ทำไมมันจึงพิเศษกว่าเพราะว่าอายุ
เพราะว่าเป็นไม้ตอนสร้างวัดใหม่ๆหลวงพ่อเจ้าวัดองค์เก่าอาจจะเป็นเห็นความสำคัญเลยทำอนุรักษ์ไว้
Alan, would you think this tree would produce quina?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's fully infected and so it's really precious, yeah.
You see this checkpoint?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just to set this tree.
Uh-huh. So the military here just to protect this holy tree.
Protect this holy tree, and they will set a checkpoint here to prevent the drugs to Gochang Island.
And over the years, did anybody try to buy it? It's very expensive.
มีใครมาเสนอขอซื้อไหมอะไรไหม
มีแต่ว่าทางวัดจะไม่นั้นมีญี่ปุ่นมา
He said Japanese people offering เท่าไหร่นะเขาก็เสนอมาตอนนั้นเขาไม่ได้บอกราคา
Wetsawa tells me later that the offer was $23 million, which might make this the single most expensive tree in the world. As for myself, well, I've just seen my first wild oat tree. It's actually an amazing feeling. I don't know how to express myself, but I felt it in my guts. It's just beyond amazing. With the amounts of money on offer, it is hardly surprising that there is a huge black market for wild oat in Southeast Asia. This area in Bangkok has become known as Soy Arab or Arab Street. If you want oat, this is where to come.
Region of India. They want to welcome us.
You want to talk to my friend? Your friend? Okay.
Hi, how you doing? Good. My friend Ali from Qatar.
Actually, not bad.
A bit like the one I
a bit like
yeah. So the bubbles now are
the oil is
thicker, not very thick, but thicker.
Smell very similar to tarragon.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
who are the customers?
Qatari and
okay.
some Bahraini.
I can tell the smell.
Sirika wood is very new in the market.
It's very wide used in Qatar,
It's just
this kind of smell.
Okay.
That's why I like it, I'm used to it.
Yeah. Remind you of your childhood.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Takes me back.
In lots of these shops, there are chips openly being sold from Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Burma, all countries where wild harvesting is banned.
How does it come here? I thought it's illegal.
But nobody wants to tell the truth. When you ask them, they keep telling, oh, I make it legally. But when you ask about the document, they don't have anything to show you.
How did they get it if they don't have a document?
And they pay for the customs office.
So you're saying they smuggle it to bring it here?
They must know somebody inside.
I'm treading on sensitive ground here. I was warned in Qatar that poking around too much into wood in Southeast Asia could be dangerous. None of the sellers I meet will talk on camera about their trade. But eventually, I find a dealer from the Gulf who agrees to, if his face is hidden.
الحين العود ممنوع في كمبوديا. ما تقدر تقطع الشجرة وما تقدر تصدره.
نروح الكمبوديا والتجار نفسهم اللي نشتري منهم العود نتفق معهم على ان احنا بنجيبكم ومعنا دراهمنا حتى يمر من عند شو اسمه من عند الشاشه من يندفع لهم كلهم الضباط. هي ترى اكثر الامور في امور واجده ماشيه فساد ولخبطه.
يعني انت الحين تقول ان تجاره العود ما تمشي الا بالدفع والفساد؟
والله في بعضنا
ويروح للخليج عادي
الخليج يروح لهم جاهز مرتب. يعني التاجر الخليجي ما جاء وفي ديرته وجاهز مرتب ومرخص ونظامي ما يدري وش الافلام اللي صارت.
It's certainly something I didn't know about. My oud tends to come from Indonesia, where a quota of wild harvesting is allowed. But I've also learned that Qatar and other Gulf states have effectively opted out of the CITES controls on Aqualaria, in case it affects trade. The different rules for different countries have created the kind of spider's web on which the black market thrives. I take a secret camera around the shores of Saudi Arabia to find out more. I am even invited into a private flat where the best stuff is kept and other dealers are sifting through products.
Does it come from what grade? How much? This one Burma.
When it comes to getting banned oud into Thailand, several sellers say we have our connections.
Another one said we bribe the police, and he mentioned that it's usually a chief of police or a high rank of police who send the lower rank to do his dirty business. And when they come to inspect these shops and find out about the illegal oud sold there in Cambodia or India, they simply get paid like monthly to keep quiet and let it slide.
Another person involved in the trade corroborates this.
Everything depends on the police. If they say it's okay, it's okay. Otherwise, all of the shop will be erased.
So you're saying that all of these shops are in bed with the police?
Yeah. Even the mafia who sponsor money for the hunter to hunting Agarwood from the forest, they're also paying the police to clear the way for them to get into the forest. And on the way back, they pay for the forest ranger. Somewhere, not everybody. Somebody, somewhere. Not everybody.
So the corruption starts in the forest?
Yeah. And in the city also.
Then an event in Thailand reveals the human cost of wild oud. This shows the dark side of the Agarwood business. Forest guard just got killed a few days ago by illegal poachers. I'm on my way to attend the funeral. Makawan Wantul was the journalist who broke the story.
เสี่ยงในเรื่องของการปราบปรามคนพวกนี้เพราะคนพวกนี้จะมีการติดอาวุธมาตลอดจะมีการติดอาวุธติดปืนอาวุธครบมือแล้วเข้าไปเป็นเดือนนี่ฮะคนที่เจ้าหน้าที่ที่ถูกยิงที่หามา
The dead ranger's name was Prasit Kumu, and his funeral is far larger than I could have imagined. Even the governor of the province turns up. Clearly, the killing of a park ranger means something here. Veteran Saimfella was one of Prasit's colleagues.
Can you tell me what happened that night?
ผมคุณเนื่องจากทางเจ้าที่เราเนี่ยได้รับการประสานเรื่องการข่าวนะครับว่ามีกลุ่มคนเข้ามาลักลอบตัดไม้กฤษณาในพื้นที่เขตรักษาพันธุ์สัตว์ป่าภูเขียวนะครับในการเข้าจับกลุ่มนะครับในระหว่างที่ทำการเข้าจับกลุ่มอยู่นั้นนะครับคุณประสิทธิ์เองก็ได้เข้าไปคว้าตัวของผู้ก่อเหตุเนี่ยนะครับแล้วก็ไปคว้าได้กระเป๋าของเขามานะครับแต่ว่าพอคว้ากระเป๋ามาแล้วกระเป๋าเขาหลุดจากตัวนะครับเขาก็หันปืนนะครับหันปืนลูกซองอาวุธปืนลูกซองยาวนะครับยิงเข้ามาที่คุณประสิทธิ์
How
The hunt for the poachers has been intense, with over 200 armed personnel involved.
เบื้องต้นทางเจ้าหน้าที่ตำรวจก็ได้มีการสืบทราบแล้วก็ได้มีการจับกลุ่มของ2ใน3ผู้ต้องหาแล้วก็ได้มีการไปนำตัวไปสอบสวนในเชิงลึกซึ่งข้อมูลเนี่ยแต่ส่วนตัวอีกคนหนึ่งคือผู้ยิงเนี่ยก็ยังจับไม่ได้ก็ยังมีการไล่ล่ากันต่อก็ยังเอากำลัง
What does the police find out so far?
ตอนนี้ทางเจ้าหน้าที่ตำรวจก็มีการสืบไปได้เยอะแล้วครับไปได้เยอะแล้วว่าผู้บงการพ่อค้าตัวเนี้ยที่เขาเอาไปขายเนี่ยมันได้น้อยแต่กลับไปมองถึงพ่อค้าคนกลางที่เขารับซื้อเนี่ยเขาได้มหาศาลเขาได้มากกว่าที่เขาเอาไปแอบลักลอบออกไปแล้วเขาไปขายเขาได้มากกว่าแค่คนโลภที่จะเอาสมบัติของแผ่นดินไปขาย
My initial dream of seeing an old tree in the forest feels less important now. However, after weeks of trying, a call finally comes through. I'm invited to Malaysia to see a more sustainable form of harvesting. Before I leave Thailand, I managed to get my first taste of Kina. I want to give it the respect that Alan has taught me and do it the Japanese way. Fire the charcoal, cover it in ash so that the heat is softer. Add the mica plate and then the Kina. It's only a few shavings, but at $1,000 a gram, 30 times the price of gold.
It's raw. It's so animalic. It's like burning a chunk of a spice.
Is it the best oud you've ever smelled?
Definitely potential.
In Malaysia, there is still enough wild equal area for its harvesting not to be banned. Under CITES, a quota of 200,000 kilograms a year can be exported. Mayam is an Orang Asli, one of the indigenous people of Malaysia.
Okay.
He makes his living from harvesting what the forest provides. Top of those provisions these days is oud, known here as gahari.
Pokok kayu haru.
And there it is, the first oud tree I've seen growing in the forest.
Mayhem. How come the tree is already wounded like this?
Saya jalan-jalan dulu, saya lihat dia ada isi macam ini. Dulu di kulit macam ini dia akan kering jadi hitam. Itu tanda dia ada isi. Tanda ada isi. Selepas itu kapak. Guna kapak, jadi inilah. Potong bawah, potong atas. Kasih pecah, ambil dia punya isi tengah. Jadi batang ini, pokok ni kita biarkan macam ini. Lain tahun dia akan jadi. Kita ambil lagi. Kemudian pula dia akan jadi macam ini. Tambah ambil lagi isi.
Do you have other tree like this in the forest?
Lebih kurang dalam 8 pokok. Tapi tidak dekat-dekat. Jauh-jauh lah.
Officially, the Orang Asli are only allowed to harvest oud for their own use, but they also sell it on. Mayam has had his run-ins with the law.
Kadang-kadang saya pun jawab cakap ini kayu pokok gaharu bukan kerajaan tanam, ini tumbuhan sendiri. Saya pun tinggal di hutan, kayu pun di hutan, ini harta saya bukan harta kerajaan. Saya cakap, dia pun kadang-kadang senyap, dia tak boleh jawab lagi. Kadang-kadang orang asli bawa kayu, kayu gaharu dia pun akan rampas lah. Habis rugi lah. Orang asing tak boleh cari makan. Macam itu.
Do you think the tree still has a future here?
Masa depan Malaysia, kalau tidak ada orang Kemboja, Vietnam, Thailand, Filipina mau datang lagi ke Malaysia, kalau tidak masuk lagi dalam hutan Malaysia ini, pokok kayu gaharu masa depan banyak. Dia pokok besar pun kasih tumbang. Pokok sebesar ini pun dia gali, cabut, cari IC.
It was, I don't know how to describe that. It's exciting and also sad because it was really hard to see it. We walked for hours and we didn't see any other tree, either healthy or infected. And eventually we saw only one tree, an infected one. And a local tribe member is harvesting this tree slowly and piece by piece.
So, to answer my original question, am I part of the problem? Well, yes. I guess anyone using wildwood is some part of the problem. With the pressure put on it by people like me in the Gulf, by Western perfumers, by Chinese buyers and the black market, its survival may be reaching tipping point. The stocks in Malaysia and Indonesia, which are said to still be viable, supply just a fraction of the demand. The only hope I can see is plantations, where the tree can live long enough to produce the kind of resin that competes with that of the wild. But that will take time. Until then, all I know is that I will only buy wood from sustainable sources. And that after this journey, the scent of heaven will never smell the same again.